It's as if the owner's manual forgot to mention you need a key to start the car. A businessman can have a great idea and a business model for a new enterprise, but what about raising capital? Our next guest is an expert on this business skill that's rarely taught and often missing from the would-be entrepreneur's toolbox. Mark Gray is the CEO of Gray Capital and the author of The Money Hunt, Secrets of Attracting Capital, Every CEO's Guide. And we're delighted to welcome him here to Sky Radio. Mark, thanks for joining us today.
Thanks, Dennis. Thanks for having me.
Well, this is the real key, apparently, if you want to start a business or expand one, raising capital. So what is the key?
Well, as the saying goes, it takes money to make money. And I could spend just a few minutes talking with anyone, an entrepreneur, a CEO, or business owner about their business. And once I understand it a little better, can share with them the exact ideal funding sources and strategies that are the best fit for them and tell you even specifically how to attract the capital you're seeking. But the number one driver is identifying something called your risk-reward profile for your company or your deal. Now, every investor, Dennis, that has ever lived has already clearly defined and ingrained in our subconscious mind sort of the risk-reward profile that we as investors are comfortable with. And it is matching your company or your deal, risk-reward profile, with the investor's comfort zone more than anything and everything else altogether combined that will really determine your success in attracting capital.
Well, with that in mind, what should an entrepreneur or would-be entrepreneur be doing to raise capital? And maybe more to the point, what should he not be doing?
Gotcha. Well, I get that question a lot. I would say there's really three major areas that you need to focus on when you're raising capital for your company, whether it's early stage or an existing small business or even a bigger company. Number one is getting really crystal clear your business model and attracting around you sort of the dream team, the management team. In real estate, they say it's location. Investors, Dennis, are seeking management, because a really great management team, even if the model changes or the market shifts or regulation or competition shows up, a great management team will reinvent itself, will reinvent that company and take you on to the next level. So I think having a great model or idea is important, but it deserves to surround it, a great idea does, or a great business, with a dream team of management or board members. We can show you some tips and ideas on how to do that effectively and how to get the very best people in your company. But investors are looking for that. That's a big key. Another area that is sorely overlooked is the investor presentation materials. What we really like to see from entrepreneurs or CEOs or business owners are a crystal clear, brief, right to the point presentation, easy to understand, that you know your industry and you really understand your business. And if you do that, boy, you're going to attract a lot of attention. But one of the biggest overlooked aspects I love to coach on, if I could give anyone a single gift on your program or online, would be to get a great structure for investors. Most entrepreneurs or CEOs will talk on and on and on endlessly and very knowledgeably about their business or their industry or their model. But they really don't think very much about the investor and what's in it for them. So having a very compelling investor presentation with a proposal for the investor that's attractive. Let me give you a quick example. Most of us are familiar with or even played the lottery before. Now, they've got an investment proposition and a risk-reward proposition that goes something like this. You have a very small or low entry, usually $1, and you can win thousands or even millions of dollars in just a few days' time. Now, they'll tell you right up front that your odds of winning are very, very small, but then so is the risk, usually $1. Now, you would think with those extremely low odds of winning, Dennis, that they would be having a tough time getting investors, but in fact, they get millions of investors each and every week, regardless of how the economy is doing or the stock market is doing. People are willing to do that because their risk-reward profile is set for high, and the offer is crystal clear, okay? So that's one of the things you need to do in your investor presentations, and make it clear and let investors know, what's in it for us. And the third and final thing is getting in front of the right investors. Once you've clearly defined those first two things, it starts to get much more apparent and much easier to identify investors where there's the great element of fit. And when you have that, there's a lot less selling going on, and usually the investors are almost pursuing you and your company as much as you are them.
Well, that's a lot of very useful information right there, and I understand you have plenty more, but tell us about your method of teaching these keys to raising capital.
Sure. Well, when we started to learn language, and you're like a little kid, how did you do that? Okay? Well, you got into it. I mean, you did it every day. You touched it. You got into immersion. That's what I believe really works, Dennis, in learning anything, is immersion. So whether it's a live weekend, 2 or 3 day seminar, or a home study approach with audio CDs and a workbook where you can go at your own pace, or with interactive online tools and webinars, I really think that to master the secrets of attracting capital so you can use it now, right away, and any time in the future for your business as you grow, you need to spend about 30 days and really get immersed in it. And I love to see people pick a time of day, whether it's morning or evening or some quiet time. But if you touch it every day, whether it's 15 minutes or an hour, but if you spend some time every day for about 30 days, not only will you have all these steps really with high momentum, but you'll be at the point now where investors are contacting you, and you'll have created quite a bit of momentum. From my perspective, I don't think it's a one-day magic pill, but I think immersion in about a 30-day period is where we've seen the greatest results.
Well, you're certainly taking some of the mystery out of it for me. That's amazing. Mark, thanks so much for joining us here on Sky Radio. Glad to have you flying.
Well, thanks for having us. And for more information or to get a little profile or learn more about how the Money Hunt works for you with maybe some custom funding solutions, you can try it free as a guest of Sky Radio at www.themoneyhunt.net.
And we'll tell you that again. Mark Gray is the CEO of Gray Capital and the author of The Money Hunt, Secrets of Attracting Capital, Every CEO's Guide. We reached him at his offices in Atlanta, Georgia, and you can reach him at www.themoneyhunt.net.